What's up, guys? Welcome back. Today, I think I have a pretty important and interesting video for you. A good topic that really comes to mind today, right? The thing that really pops out in my mind today is, and showed me the importance of, once again, is the importance of scaling out of positions. Scaling out of positions when you are correct in a large way, let's say 20, 30, 40%, you start to get that profit, right? You're up 20, you're up 30, you're up 40%. You're starting to be in a really good position, right? Being up 20, 30%, guys, on an options trade is great stuff. That is a great trade. That is a great return on your money. And we need to continue to consider the fact that scaling out of these positions in the long run, we need to think long term, in the long run will save us from greed, will save us from giving back profits, will continue to maintain our portfolio values. This is something that is not sexy. It's not sexy to think about scaling out of profits at 20, 30%, right? Because we've all been, or at least some people out there, have been told that they can make 1,500% profits on a daily basis. Okay, this is not realistic if you are trading in a market that's not in one direction all day. So we need to continue to protect ourselves and our mindsets in the way we trade to a more conservative approach. Taking profits when you get wins, when you get percentage point gains, making sure to protect yourself from the potential of a turnaround on the market or a turnaround from your original trade idea. I always instill this concept in my trading, and maybe this is why I stay alive in my trading, right? I don't have, sometimes I have huge gains and huge wins, but I definitely do not have these major losses that go so against me and I lose so much money that it really affects my portfolio. When I'm right, I get those profits. I pull them out of the position. And when I'm wrong, I have those tight stop losses. Sometimes my taking profits off will limit my upside potential. But like I've told you guys in previous videos, I would always rather limit my upside potential than keep my downside exposure completely full, right? I don't want my downside to be fully exposed. But I'm okay limiting my upside exposure if that means my downside exposure is limited, right? So if I'm scaling off winners, I'm keeping my downside exposure. I'm keeping my risk smaller and smaller. Every time I scale off a winner, I'm lowering my potential risk, right? My downside exposure is protected. And so I need to continue to think this way to manage my portfolio. I know it's not a sexy way to think about trading, but it is important. And it's something that has to continue to be instilled when we see days like today, right? Today is a fantastic example of the importance of scaling out of positions. We saw early morning, nice little upside move, some interesting potential for some further upside, and there were some great upside trades early morning, but almost every single one of them today turned around and really started to drop later day. Almost every stock I looked at today, if you held longs and did not scale out, you would have lost the position, right? You would have lost what you were holding. And today is a fantastic example of how I protected myself from that late day move by scaling out of positions. We took QQQ long, scaled out, had a loss on the runners, but still a profitable position. We had AMD longs, had a very nice upside move, over 200% at one point on runners that ended up coming back down. And if you didn't take any profits, you lost on the position. So why not take profits, protect that potential of a reversal? Why not do it, right? Because of greed. That's why people don't do it, because they are greedy and they want to continue to see stocks go in the direction they want it to go. But that's not realistic. We need to be realistic. This is the stock market. Anything can happen on a single day, and we need to stay protective in the positions that we take. So today, I'm going to review QQQ and AMD, two trades that I scaled out of to protect my profits. I have these trades recorded live, which you can watch me do this live at the end of today's video. And if you want to join me live when I take these trades, make sure to check out the Discord link down below. If you guys enjoyed today's video after watching it, press that like button, subscribe to the channel. Let's jump right into the charts. All right, guys, so here's the QQQ. These are the levels that we had coming into today. I'm actually going to go ahead and take away that gray area real quick. That's pretty ugly. But we came into the day with some key levels. The first level we were watching was our 487, and we opened the market below it, right? So let's go ahead and turn that red. We opened the market below 487. So that instantly was something to be careful of on rejections, right? So we had 487 highs, 487 highs, both Monday and Tuesday. And if we go to the 5-minute chart, you can see we opened the market below it. And actually, that was the rejection play of the day, right? If you took some shorts off that 487 today, really nice. If you went ahead and held them, really nice, right? A very nice downside continuation move. So we didn't want to take any longs early morning. We were talking to the group, like, let's be careful on longs. We're under 47. We need to be above that 47 to be confident here early morning. If we got above it, maybe the market could go back higher. But we knew coming into the day, we opened the day below 487 double top highs from Monday, Tuesday, and that was the level that rejected today as well. So if we're near a rejection spot and we still are interested in maybe a potential long opportunity, what are we waiting for? We're waiting for pullbacks, right? We want some pullbacks to some key levels. Now, the next level we were watching today was right here, 485.50, 485.50, previous highs 485.50, and previous Tuesday's highs around 485.50. So if we go down to the 2-minute chart, what you guys will see here is that we had a very, very clean bounce early morning here off of 485.50, right? A very nice little 8 to 10 minute push to the upside off that level, off a very key demand, off one of our key levels, and a very structured or very clear wick formation, right? Look at these 3 wicks right here. You see this? You see a wick higher, wick higher, wick higher, showing that buyers were attempting to push this higher off this key level, eventually getting a nice upside move and a scalpable opportunity to the upside. Now, we did push higher, but where did we push higher into? We pushed back into the 487 supply level. So, right, what do you have to think through when you take a position here? Well, if we're going to try the longs at 485, which I did, and which is the trade we'll talk about, what is the idea here, right? Let's make sure we have an idea before we take this trade. The idea is we got a pullback long, right? Potential trade setting up. That's one, right? What's the strategy? What's the idea? Pullback long, right? That's what we're looking for. Pull back into demand, hold that level. Let's long this thing back to the upside. What's the other thing we need to be paying attention to? Okay, we're in the position, we're in it long. Where can this move to? Where do I need to start being careful if I'm in this long position? Well, we need to be careful back into these highs, right? Back into that 47 high, and you can see back into that 487 high. So we did long that QQQ today, but we started to see the rejections coming in at 487, and we started to see that downside come in, eventually breaking back below that demand level. And that was really the demand break that caused a very nice downside move, right? Once we broke that morning low, look at that downside move that came in. But this is still a tradable opportunity to the upside. And for someone that is not greedy, that's just trading off key levels and taking profits in a market that is providing opportunity, but maybe not all day, right? Maybe it's not the same direction all day. There's still intraday scalp opportunities. We need to be the people that take these profits, right? So right here, guys, these contracts ran about 40%. Why not start scaling out? Why not start taking some profits? And that is exactly what we did on the QQQ. So I have this trade recorded live. You're going to watch it live. You'll see why we got in, how we scaled out of it, and why, even though I was still holding the position in this downside and actually stopped out of the runners right here, right? I stopped out of the runners for a loss, but I was still profitable on the trade. And why is that? Because of the scale outs. And so, right, think about this for a second. Think about this logically. Let me go full face because I want to really look you in the eyes on this one. There's situations where you scale out and you wish you didn't, right? You say, man, I wish I still had my whole position. I'd be up so much money right now. This would be incredible. I can't believe I took some profits off. That is something that needs to get out of your mind because those thoughts will stop you from protecting yourself on days like today. If you do not protect yourself on days like today, you will lose more than you would have gained in the long term. In the long term, you will lose more if you keep the mentality that you have to hold full size, that you have to stay greedy, you have to let runners go, right? You can let runners go, but with a smaller position size, making sure you protect yourself of the exposure that is on your portfolio. Make sure that you always think on the conservative side, in my opinion, when you are trading, most likely the riskiest asset of anything out there, which is options. You have to protect yourself. And so you get a nice trade, you lock up some profits, you let runners go to try to see where they can move, right? There's nothing wrong with that, but we cannot be holding full size and just hope that it continues to move in the direction that we please. Today is a fantastic example of that. You can see it right here. There is a beautiful long opportunity here off a key level that provided profitable trades. But the people that did not scale out into a very clear supply lost on this trade because they were greedy. They did not focus on the levels, and they would not get off some of the position that they were profitable on. So very important here, guys. I hope I'm getting this across. I hope you understand what I'm talking about. The next one we're going to talk about before we get into the live trades is AMD. We know AMD has been one that gives back everything almost every time. And it gave back a decent amount today, right? It gave back a decent amount. Didn't give back everything, right? About a 50% retracement today on AMD. And actually still holding a pretty nice level. But from where I got in, if I didn't take profit, I would have been break even to possibly even down on this position. So let's talk about AMD. AMD opened the morning on a pretty much straight up move, right? Pretty much straight up. There's no entries here. There's really no entries here. Maybe a little long off the 50 daily, the daily 50, but there really is no entries here until some type of a pullback. And so we saw around 10:02 to around 10:18, we saw a nice little 15-minute pullback on AMD back into this 161 level. Now, if we zoom in, right, let's go ahead and look at this 161 level. Earlier in the day, around 9:50, we saw a nice hold, a nice wick of that 161 level. And so what I was looking for was for us to pull back and see if that 161 level would hold again for a potential long entry. Now, why long here, right? Well, I know I have this 161 level. I'm also going to add VWAP because there was VWAP here as well, and I do watch VWAP. So you can see right here, we had that 161, nice wick hold, nice demand step up right there. We pulled back to it. We pulled back to that same 161 demand, and on top of that, you had that VWAP, which was holding AMD higher, and I was looking for that break of trend for a very nice intraday scalping opportunity. We got long right here. Right at that 161 and right at that VWAP. And what I love about that entry there is it provides a great risk reward because my risk here is just that AMD breaks back under VWAP and I stop out of the trade for a very small risk, whereas my reward was something like this, right? A very high risk reward. Even if you just trade this back to the highs, that is still a positive risk reward. So I loved that entry there in terms of risk reward, in terms of the technicals on AMD, as well as that VWAP holding up. Now, there's one more thing. And it is the overall market levels. The overall market levels that we're holding at this point. So this was around 10:16, right around 10:12 to 10:12 to 10:20. About that 8-minute time frame right in there. Let me go to the NASDAQ for you. All right, let me show you what the NASDAQ was doing at that same time. So right here, you guys can see we came into the NASDAQ into the day with these levels. And we were coming into this Tuesday low around that 20,120 at the same time AMD was pulling back and holding that level we just talked about. So take a look at this, right? Right here, 1018, 1016, 1018, 1020, all right here is where the NASDAQ held that 20,120, 20,125 area and started to push higher, right? And so I started to see the NASDAQ holding that key level, gaining confidence in the potential of an AMD long, right? Because I know if the NASDAQ is going to hold this level, or at least attempt to hold the level, I could potentially take a long on AMD. Now, another full face concept here. I don't know for sure that the NASDAQ is going to hold that level. I don't know, right? There's no one knows for sure it's going to hold the level. But I know it's an important level, and I can potentially set up a trade off of it. There is risk reward in the idea of longing it off that previous Tuesday low. That is a Tuesday low that we've moved down into that could provide a little bounce back to the upside for a potential scalping trade. So I knew, right, that I could potentially take that trade. I didn't know for sure. There's no way to know for sure. And this is something, you see the book behind me, right there, Trading in the Zone. He talks about this, Mark Douglas talks about this in great detail. You have to eliminate the unknowns. You cannot be scared of the unknowns. We cannot be scared of If the NASDAQ doesn't hold there and AMD doesn't hold there, oh, what's going to happen? We can't be thinking like that. We can't be scared of that. We know it's a potential hold level. We know it's held in the past. We know AMD's at that level. We know where our risk is. We have a plan. Let's take the shot, right? Right there. We got to take that shot. So I saw, right, that concept is what's going through my head. I saw the NASDAQ holding that level, and at the same time, I saw the S&P, I believe it was the S&P around that time. Yep, it was. I saw at the same time the S&P was holding 5560, right? And why was this 5560 so big at the exact same time? Well, let me go ahead and zoom out for you. Look at the 15-minute chart, right? 15-minute chart here on the ES. Let's take that VWAP off. You can see 5560, 5560. And so we were pulling back into that 5560, and we were starting to see a hold of it. We got a temporary hold on both the ES at 5560, and we got a temporary hold on the NASDAQ at 20,120, which resulted in an AMD pullback long opportunity, right? Those NASDAQ and ES levels lining up with the AMD level, lining up with that AMD VWAP, and providing an opportunity to long this play. Back to what we talked about. Scaling out as you get the move, right? Making sure that if this turns back around, you aren't exposed, right? And so what did AMD do? It did exactly that. It turned back around, and it came right back to that entry point. Instead of holding that entire time and then stopping out break even or for a loss, why not scale out as we get the push and lock up those profits? So I hope that this video gives you some insight into the importance and sort of reminds you that if you are getting profits, if you are in a position that is gaining, that is looking very good, take a step back and remember, the market can do anything on any given day. Some kind of data can come out. Some kind of news can come out. For some reason that I may not know, the market may drop. And if I'm in a long position and I have a lot of exposure and I'm not comfortable with it, why not scale some off and take some profits? This concept will make you last much longer as a trader in this game. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Stay tuned for the live trades. I'm about to put them at the end of this video. Enjoy the live trades. You're going to watch me trade Qs and AMD live with the group. If you want to trade live with me every day, that is down below in the description. Join our community, the Options Insider Trading community. Thank you guys once again. I appreciate all the support. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out. Okay, hold on. I would consider a long on the Qs if we see an aggressive hold here. Qs are definitely holding here for the moment. This would be an aggressive long attempt. Potentially taking this 486 calls on Qs. Not in yet, but watching. That is a major level there that you can see starting to show some wicks, but I need some more, a little bit more. Possibly the NASDAQ back over that 220 would be key here. Just looking at the 486 calls for today expiration. Just looking for a scalp. But not in yet. I think I want that NASDAQ over in 20,220 before I do that. Alright, I'm longing. I'm in the Qs longs. I'm in the Qs long here. I'm in the 486 calls on Qs right off of our 485.50. Gotta try it. Look at this level that's maintaining. Look at the reactions we just saw there. Gotta give that a shot. Can't be too worried about it, right? That's just a perfect demand hold. Look at this. Wow. Very nice level. Very nice level. Alright, I'm out half already, up 11%. I'm out half, up 11% there. That was our 485.50 level. We talked about that in the live stream. Just a little scalper off that key level. Let's see if we can try to hold some for a continuation. Took half off just to protect myself from any type of quick aggressive pullback. SMCI going. Big time going. Holy hell. SMCI is sick. Alright, good trade. I like this entry point. Let's see if we can get some continuation. Market looks like it is trying to ramp back higher here a little bit. You do have some strong equities. Dell, AMD, SMCI. Nvidia is holding. Whoa, Nvidia is holding. Yeah, Nvidia is holding that pre-market low pretty damn well there, 138.60. It's amazing. All right, Nvidia coming up into 141. I like this Q long we're in. I'm just gonna sit in that for now. I really like our entry point. There we go. Come on, Qs, give me a nice push here. Up 16%. Man, things are rocketing. Dell over 160. SMCI is in full FOMO mode now. Really can't touch that. Need to pull back to 970. Nvidia, I would watch Nvidia at 141. ES held that 55.66 nicely. I'd like to see the NASDAQ retain 20,220. I'd like to see the NASDAQ retain 20,220 for this upside to continue. SMCI's full rocket mode. Full thrusters. Would like to see the Qs give us a push here into VWAP, where I'll take a little bit more off. I'm up 18%. I'll probably be up about 20% at VWAP here, which I'll take a little stab off of. Okay, good. All right, taking some off there, up 20%. Very nice. There it is. Up 25%. Little VWAP projection there. Make sure to be scaling out a little bit on the morning drive here. You do have the VWAP that's started getting stuck, but there's so much strength on equities. I really have confidence in this one to push higher. A lot of strength on equities. AMD very strong today. I think I might use these Q profits to put in an AMD swing trade, guys. And set and forget on that thing later in the day if it holds over 158. All right, I'm taking more off at 25%. I'm down to like a quarter size right now. So majority off up here around the 20-25% range. ES would hold at 55.66. NASDAQ is coming back up into the 20,270. We do need to be careful of that. Could just be a rejection up here after this morning push. Nvidia is rejecting that 141 level. Let's see if we can get above. Nice Qs. Okay, up 30%. I'm going to take a little bit more off. Just getting down into a position I can hold these things comfortably. Down into 10 contracts now. Kava's over 97. Oh, man. Kava. I mean, what a beautiful pullback long. What a beautiful pullback long. Absolutely perfect. Gotta love that. You're right into 487. Make sure you're profit taking into this. If we break over 487, we're squeezing here. But make sure profit taking the 487, I'd say. All right, I'm out to 5 contracts. I don't really like this 487. Be careful here. We just traded it from demand to supply, so we should be scaling off into that. We can hold runners for the hope that we break out, but we do not hold full positions into the breakout. And I'll hold 5 contracts. All right, I'm all out of my Q's position. Took the rest off. Very nice trade there. Good runner. Got stopped out on the runners. I like that SPY hold level. Okay, I'm long some AMD short-term contracts. AMD 165 calls. Tomorrow expiration. Stop under VWAP. I'm watching this flag coming back down into this 160-150 in VWAP level. Alongside the SPY 548. I sort of like that. So I'm along here AMD. I need the SPY to hold 548. I need the ES to hold 5560. If not, then this will fail. And then I'll get out of everything on AMD here if we break VWAP and just take my loss on AMD today. Just accept that it's not quite ready yet, I guess. Very interested in this SPY hold. Another wick right there. I don't need to take it. I'm already in AMD. But that is a very interesting SPY hold. Up 17% on AMD already. 20%. That's a sniper entry on AMD there. Let's see if we can get some continuation off this level. That's a really nice SPY hold going in right now. I very closely watch this. Let's see if this continues to play. Look at this SPY hold going on. Right at our 548. I'd pay attention to that. It might still fail. It's a little early. Alright, it's just, 4 or 5 minutes right now, but it's starting to show you something that you should be paying attention to. That's at least what that is. Trying to look around, seeing other equities, see what they're doing. QQQ, that's the problem. Yeah, that's what makes me a little bit less confident on it, is that QQQ weakness. It's definitely sort of concerning. I would like to see the Qs try to flip here with the SPY at some point. Yeah, I think NASDAQ may be too weak for that AMD to really give us much. But I like the one. I like our entry still. It's still a good entry point. Still looking. Still holding. You can see we are trying to hold 20,120 right now. So watch that on NASDAQ futures. That would be a monster hold. AMD very nicely basing over VWAP here. I do like that. Any type of strength on the NASDAQ here off this 20,120 will definitely send AMD higher. But we need that NASDAQ to hold at 2120. You can start to see it happening right now. SPY, I've been talking about it for the last 10 minutes. 580, 548.50. Look for the holds. Need that NASDAQ to sort of hold though. They got to get that NASDAQ slide to slow down. Once that NASDAQ slide slows down, there might be some opportunity here. You can see NVIDIA just perfectly wicked off our pullback gap fill level. 136.30 to the T. There's AMD. Up 25% AMD. These contracts are lucrative. These things are moving today. Obviously because of the breakout of the movement. If I can get one more pop into 163 on AMD, I'll take some off here. Nice NASDAQ hold of 20,120. Reading the market like a book here today. Hope you guys are seeing this. Really nice SPY hold at 548. Okay, I'm out half AMD up 33%. Bam. Up 14% on the next month, July. AMD calls up 137 on the tomorrow's.